Welcome to the Personal Development Mastery Podcast. I am Agi Keramidas and my mission is to inspire you to grow, stand out and take action towards the next level of your life. I interview leaders, authors, successful entrepreneurs, spiritual teachers, exceptional people who will inspire you to improve your life. Tune in for 2 episodes each week and make sure you subscribe to get them as soon as they are released. In today's show, it is a real pleasure to speak with Scott Campbell. Scott, you mentor coaches to become successful and grow their businesses aligned to their values and the impact they want to make without getting overwhelmed. You are well known for your philosophy of simplicity over complexity, and with this you have generated over £30 million for your clients. With your work, you are passionate about creating ripple effects of positivity in the world. Scott, welcome to Personal Development Mastery. It's a pleasure to speak with you today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, Agi, for the invite.
And Scott, we will discuss about marketing and mindset and some other things today, which are your field of expertise. Before we go there, I would like to ask a few, shall we say, background questions so we can get a little bit of more understanding of who you are. So if I were to ask you then, what compelled you to go into marketing in the first place? What happened there?
It's interesting, actually. Good question, because I never saw myself as a marketing person, and for years I kind of did a route where I was into computers when I first left school, and then went into the corporate world, and then got involved in being sort of kind of a turnaround project specialist in retails. So I never saw that as marketing ever. You know, I just saw it was just. We had a job, we had to turn a business around, we had to make more money, we had to sort of staff out, and as it turned out, I was very good at that. But then I had a real career path. I think with a lot of people with the sort of 2009, with the whole kind of sort of big financial bloom and all that sort of happened and everything. I got very frustrated in the corporate world where I was, had 4 seats. Brand new sort of chief executive. I was reporting to a chief exec in a big global organization, and I had 4 different chief execs in my last year. So, and then people will know from the corporate, if your chief exec changes, your whole world changes, or everything changes. And I wasn't enjoying it. I was getting really stressed out, and I walked out, and which was a scary decision. It wasn't planned or anything like that. And it was really the only decision afterwards was I didn't want to work for anyone else. I didn't think myself an entrepreneur or anything like that. I just knew that I didn't want to work with anyone else, because one of my things that when I used to get asked a lot about my success in that corporate world, a lot of it was, even though it wasn't my business, I treated it as my name above the door with whatever project I was working on. And I realized that was a big aspect. And then, so I got into, really, I just thought, there's a whole other long story about getting stitched up over my shares that I was posted. I thought I had a big lump sum to walk away with, which didn't turn out, and went, bit that thing. So that didn't quite work out. So then I had to sell stuff, really, and actually I sort of come across affiliate marketing, if you like, a little bit, and then I realised I had the stuff that I was doing in the corporate world around the customer journey and always putting the customer first really set me apart differently, even in the online space, which was really new. So I accidentally built an agency, first of all. It's quite successful, which we specialised in apps M days, which was, again, really early days. But I saw that opportunity. And it's just carried on from there, really. 3 agencies later, and a couple of failures in there and stuff like that. And a few life moments that sort of felt, rock bottom moments, and then recovering, and probably, only for the last probably 2 years is I've been happy calling myself a marketer. So, always kind of resisted a bit, but I think I probably stretch along that whole, because I've had experience with building big businesses and turning around big businesses, and also helping a lot of small businesses grow quickly. You know, I feel like marketing doesn't capture it fully, but I don't want to call myself a business coach or anything like that either. So
I can personally relate with labeling people in a certain way. So I will leave that for now. There was something you said that caught my attention. You said when you left your corporate job, you knew that you didn't want to work for anyone else, but you didn't think of yourself as an entrepreneur. When was the moment when you realized that, oh, I am an entrepreneur after all? How long did it take you in that journey?
I don't know if I still do, you know. It's interesting because a lot of that marketing sort of talk to entrepreneurs, excuse me, I funny enough, always have a bit of a thing about it, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize they are entrepreneurs.
I know. So
that's and I put myself in that bracket where it's just doing what I love, and it turns out I'm good at, you know, teaching people how to engage and get clients, you know, and that comes under a marketing label, which I'm happy with now, fine enough owning. But but I don't think I still don't really see myself as an entrepreneur, but even though, you know, I actually do run 3 businesses now. So in every aspect, I ticked that box. But it wasn't. It was just a need initially to that I needed money, you know, to survive. Family, kids, you know, I was in a very well-paid job in corporate, so we had a nice big detached house, had the cars and all the trappings of success and all that sort of stuff that you do with corporate, and think you had to spend your money. So, you know, I needed to earn money. That was the simple of it. There was no fault. And because I suppose what I did have then is a lot of trust issues with hierarchy that had really let me down. And I think that's where it's just like, I want to, you know, I want it to be my own decision and lay with me. And so I've never really thought myself as I still don't, I don't think, as an entrepreneur, but I do tick the boxes.
It's interesting because I have also felt the same way about being an entrepreneur, because in many ways of the way I grew up, in my mind, entrepreneur, and in many people's mind, has to do with business, but it's not really. The business is the end result. Entrepreneur is about undertaking something new, something that they hadn't before. So I know how you mean it. I want to ask you also about, you said that 2 years ago you started being comfortable calling yourself like marketer. So what was the shift there that allowed that to happen?
The shift there was back around almost 3 years ago now, January. I unfortunately had quite a bad illness that I was very lucky to survive. And as a result, for 3 months, I really couldn't do anything. Come out of that, sort of, if you like, recovering from that. And then my young daughter was ill for a little while. And for over sort of kind of 4 months with 𝗵𝗂, we didn't really know what was going on. So there's a lot of kind of stressful stuff going on. I really felt, coming through that, I really felt like I was in a position of I wasn't playing full out, and I need to play full out, if you like. So, and I felt across every area of my life, business, everything, I was just probably at 25% and just comfortable, you know. And I'd had a bad experience with my illness, with coming out of the agency that I was running that time, that really kind of set me back in terms of the experience and the reputation, if you like, from that, and the disaster from that a little bit. And so I seeked out, really. I kind of took a really decision. I invested in something that I couldn't afford at the time. And, you know, started sharing with people. It's actually how, I mean, we've met through 𝗵𝗂_𝗲𝗄 and the Make It Happen. It's actually, when I joined that, actually, because I went to an event and I was looking for something. I kind of knew myself that I needed that something to either reset me or get me going again.
Yes.
And I found that with an accelerated program that I joined at the time, and from that is really finding myself in who I was and who I truly am being. And then I become very comfortable with actually people labeling me. I always didn't like people calling me a coach, introduce me as a coach, which I get introduced a lot as, and now I'm fine with that. So it was finding myself and who I truly was being that allowed me to kind of be comfortable with labels. If people want to label me, I get it. They need to put it in their head, and they need to quickly understand what it is, where they can put me in their head, and then find out more about me. And so I think it's just got really comfortable with myself and what I actually do. And the Big Leap, Gay Hendricks with the Big Leap book was a big game changer around the zone of genius stuff for me. So it allowed me to actually, I feel like I had to own it, what I really was. And that come under marketing.
I like that very much, what you said, that you had to become comfortable with yourself to allow yourself to express what was in there, which, many times we have suppressed, we do suppress, and many times we don't even know what it is until it actually comes out, and then we realize.
And a lot of people are trying to, and I say this really aligns with marketing your business, if you like, particularly for the personal development world and stuff, is that a lot of people trying to be who they think they need to be. And actually, when they join these programs and things like this, and they really take on what if you like, the profile of the person who they've joined that program of. But that's wrong, really, because the profile should be their own profile. It should be their own thing. And that's why it doesn't work. That's why a lot of people join these programs and then they go, oh, it didn't work, because they're trying to step into someone else's profile, and it's not them. It's not their being. It's not who they truly are. And so people suss that out. You suss that out, people quickly, so your content is not authentic. It doesn't attract the right people. And you're odds with yourself in your marketing because of that. So then you do, I won't put the content out. I won't say that. I won't do this, because you've now got into this overwhelmed scenario of trying, because you try to step into one profile. So that's probably the biggest part I think I do with a lot of my clients, which is an intangible, is that they can be them. It's about marketing to them. I won't force any strategies on anyone that's not right for them. And I'm a fairly introverted myself. So it's so hopefully that inspires people, if you like, as well, that they can be introverted and still find themselves and be themselves. And when they do, like I did, then you find, fun enough, your growth comes with it in terms of your self growth, your business grows, everything grows, and I'm in a very fortunate position. But I know it's created it with the work I've done, is that all of the clients that I work with are people I just love getting on a call with or going to meet. It's like I'm sort of living the dream in terms of everyone that I'm working with is absolutely, but it's because of me being me and attracting the right people then.
You work with coaches predominantly, yes? So why did you choose that as a niche for your work?
There's two, I think there's two main categories. So there's coaches, and then there's early SaaS founders, which is different. But with coaches, because I've done a lot of personal development myself, and one of my core practices is curiosity, if you like. So I'm curious about stuff, and I think the one thing I noticed with coaching, and it was by accident initially, like when I initially started working with coaches sort of kind of 6-7 years ago, it was actually by accident where some coaches approached me, got some really good results with them because I see it differently. And I think marketing a coaching business is different than anything else in a lot of ways. And I just understand that world, if you like. And so bit my content and just taking it and then actually learning to how a coach can use it, it's become powerful for them, and so that's kind of the niche. And I just love being around coaches as well, to be honest with you. I love the personal development world. I love exploring. I love the fact that a lot of my clients, you know, say things, you know, when we get to know each other, then they say things that drives me down another rabbit hole. I invest in coaching. I invest in mentoring myself. So I love that world as well. So it's kind of, again, being happy, being me. I'm around people that I love being around and find interesting, and you know, and even the spiritual side and stuff like that. Can understand where a lot of spiritual coaches and stuff like that really struggle with a marketing person understanding how they need to market. So it's kind of feel like there's a uniqueness that we fit together really well. So.
Hi, it's Agi here, interrupting you with something you may find useful. One of the most frustrating feelings is when you're trying to focus, but you can't get your brain to concentrate on the important work in front of you. This happens to me all the time, and if it happens to you too, you are not alone. 40% of people say they have to make a big effort to concentrate. But if you're having trouble getting focused, I have a solution for you. I'm so excited to be partnering with Brain FM. Brain FM is a great app, and I use it to block out my mental chatter and zone in on my number one priority of the day. Brain FM uses functional music that is backed by science and research, and it is designed to give us that extra edge when we need our undivided attention. And they also have relaxation, meditation, and deep sleep modules that help you unwind and recharge. So if you want to be able to place your full attention exclusively in the activity you choose, whether that's meaningful work or relaxing or getting high quality sleep, right now as my podcast listener, you get 20% off Brain FM subscription at brain.fm/Agi. That's an amazing deal for such a useful app. Thousands of people have given 5-star reviews to Brain FM. Find out why? brain.fm/Agi. I relate with what you said about being around coaches myself, because sometimes when I speak with them on my podcast, I feel like I have my own coaching session. Sometimes I will ask the questions that are really my questions, my challenges, and it's a great environment. There was something that I wanted to ask you quickly. You said that marketing coaching business is different than the other. So what's one thing the most important thing that makes it different to market than other marketing businesses?
So the main thing is, if you look at a lot of businesses, if you turn around and say, I'm an accountant, it's kind of, we all get an idea of what that is.
Okay.
I'm a financial advisor, get an idea of what that is. Someone says I'm a coach, and most coaches introduce themselves as I'm a coach and I'm NLP qualified master practitioner. For 99% of the population of business owners, that means nothing. And they just don't understand it. Yes. And then we've got the association of coaches with, you know, like in America, they call their sport managers are coaches, you know. So the actual perception of what coaching is in terms of, you know, like coaching football or sport or something like that, where you're really telling people how to do it, actually, it's probably more of mentoring than a coaching, actually. So when coaches struggle with this, they like introduce themselves as a coach, and the issue is, and then they start talking about stuff, and when they start doing a lot of the content that coaches do to showcase their skills, I think, the issue is a lot of it is that most people, their ideal clients, ironically, their mindset hasn't shifted enough to understand it. So hence, that's why we get so many coaches that work with other coaches, right? Because then people actually, their mindset has shifted already a little bit and they get it. But so marketing a coaching business is I feel is more of, you have to really take someone on a transformational journey. But that transformational journey is not just when you're working with them, it's when you're marketing, when you're kind of the sales process. All of that whole part is all part of the transformational journey. Because you can't just say, I'm an accountant, I'm a financial advisor, I'm a plumber, you know, I'm a landscaper, you know, I'm a coach. And people go, well, okay, what does that mean? And then, you know, and then you try and come out, you know, it's different if people like and even people that say like I'm a personal relationship coach. You know, it's like, but most people that are in a relationship won't, you know, the last thing they think of is I need someone to help me with my relationship, because it's all personal, it's all private.
Yes.
So even that, it's marketing in a different way, which has got to really take people on a journey, a transformational journey, and get them to a certain stage first, so they then get understand, if you like, what they do. And I feel that's where it's a lot more different. It's a lot more complex, and that's why my number one philosophy is simplicity over complexity. Because that's what causes, you know, most coaches struggle. They all say, I suppose 99% of coaches have said, like, you know, what do you need help with? They'll say get clients. Reality is they know how to get clients. It's the overwhelm, the complexity of what they have to do that causes the issues. And so, which is why the simplicity over complexity is my number one philosophy, because that kind of takes away a lot of the overwhelm.
Simplicity is very good. Indeed. Shall we talk about you already mentioned, I want to talk about your the people that one is attracting with their message. Before we go there, or maybe if you feel like that is the topic, you can go there if you want. But my question is regarding the mindset. We spoke about this before we started recording, that it is, and I'm sure you see that very well and often, that some people's way of thinking about what marketing is not right. It's limiting, it is restricting, and that really doesn't allow them to really do what they could do. So I wanted your thoughts on that, because I bet you see it often.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good question, Agi. And funny enough, one of the first things I teach with my clients is, I call them the marketing mindset mastery. There's 5 elements to it, but the most important one, and this hopefully answers your question, is you've got to come from a place of understanding your potential client. Right? And a lot of people say that, you know, we do these, a lot of people do these, you know, who is my customer, you know, is the 35-year-old female that shops in Marks and Spencer's. And all that is not enough. You know, you've really got to understand and always come from a place of understanding your clients. So, you know, where there's so a lot of people ask, you know, questions that will, and people try and answer them, you know, too cleverly, if you like, you know. You see a lot of this with marketing coaches that coach other coaches but they're trying, you know, got to be really clever and give a clever answer. But in actual fact, is understanding why is that person asked that question, where are they, what's it in relation to where they're at, you know. So someone might ask me a question, I'll always probably ask another question before I answer that one, because that's me coming from a place always of understanding where they are in business. You know, so, you know, it's like someone might say, you know, I just need to get reached out a lot, you know, how do I get more clients? So, well, the question is how many clients do you actually need, first of all, where you at, where you in your lifestyle, what lifestyle do you want? So it might not be a case of just getting 20 new clients, because they might want the lifestyle where they've only got 5 clients or 6 clients and they've got more time for their family and to do the stuff they want to. So there's always a place of, you've got to come from an understanding of your potential client. And so when coaches are putting content out there, when I'm putting coaching out there, it's always with that perspective of coming from a place for them understanding. And then what you'll get is, because then what I get a lot, and what my clients get, is get people that, oh, I feel like you were talking to me. When you said that, I felt like you were talking to me. You know, or this person, you really understand us, you know, it's really, you know. And so you open up that attractiveness, if you like, people get attracted to you, because again, you're putting them first and where they are. So it's not about pain points and all that. I was going to swear, then I won't, just in case it's a family show, but all that rubbish. There's a lot of things about people's pain points and stuff like that, but, you know, but actually that doesn't attract your ideal client, because you're going to attract clients who are not in the right mindset to work on their stuff anyway. because if you're in depression, the last thing you want to hear is the word depression everywhere. Right? And actually, you know, our minds are super powerful. We'll actually really defer it as much as possible. So a lot of people, coaches that deal with depression, they might talk a lot about depression. Actually, they're putting off their ideal clients, and they're probably getting a lot of clients that then don't do the work, you know, and not prepared to do the work, because it's people that are not in actual real depression that are attractiveness. They're just interested in it. Whereas if you talk about people's struggles, people's, you know, kind of situations they're in, what they're struggling with and what they can relate to, and you're coming from understanding them, then you start attracting people that really kind of want to do the work, if you like, and want to move forward.
Can I ask you, because you've said already quite a few times the phrase understand your customers. So can you give something tangible as a step, as an action? Let's say that I want to understand my customer better. What's one thing I can do to actually understand? Because it is, I would like just some clarification. It's a very great phrase, understand, but how do you get to understand them?
Well, there's two, if you like, opposite sides of the spectrum. I'm conscious of people listening to this on audio that I'll just try to. I normally get my whiteboard out at this stage, but there's two sort of points of the spectrum. You know, you've got right at the end where, say, you've got coaches got a 6-month program, for example, okay, and it gets them to this milestone and this result at the end of that 6 months. Okay, that's, if you like, what people talk about, like a result outcome that people talk about. This is the result you want to get. And that's the aspiration, that's the inspiration that people want to get to. They want to get to that feeling comfortable with their life, you know, not being in a stressful world, not being in depression. So that's the end of the journey that is inspiring, if you like. And then when we go right down to the other scale of where they are actually now. Okay. And that's the bit that you want to think about is, right, where are they right now? So they're at the start of the journey. They're going to start my 6-month program or 4-week program, wherever it is, or in my one-to-one coaching. They're at the start of the journey. At that start of that journey, what is that person feeling? What are they feeling? What is the outcomes, or the tangible outcomes that are happening at the moment because of their feeling depressed? So if someone's just feeling depressed, talking about depression to them just makes them want to shut down completely. But talking about the things that, you know, you feel like you're not, you know, that people are not listening to you, that your family are not understanding you, your family are not listening to you. Everyone's trying to tell you what to do, and no one's trying to help you, or you feel like no one's trying to help you. They're just trying to tell you what to do. All of that stuff is understanding that person, understanding them. So when you talk about that stuff, that person is inspired, and also say, oh, you know, I think this is the person that can really support and guide me, because they're actually relating to me. They're speaking, you know, they're actually in my head. It feels like they're in my head, because you start thinking about what are their real struggles with, what are their feelings, what are their emotions at the moment. And when you talk about struggles, emotions and feelings, you're really getting to understand where they're at. And so if someone says, you know, oh, I feel like in depression, what should I do? Rather than going prescriptive and telling them what to do. Now, you can do that once they've invested in you, if you like, and they're working with you. Absolutely, because they kind of want that a little bit now.
Yes.
But initially, they want, if you're coming from a place of understanding them, then you're all about inspiring them, regardless if they become a client or not, actually. And that is the real trust, that you inspire them, regardless if they want to if they become a client or not. And if you inspire them and you talk about the things that, like the emotionals, the feelings, the struggles that they're having from their perspective, then they'll really relate to you. And it's difficult initially to do, because you always want to go into a little bit of clever marketing, and the result thing. But actually, that's where, if you're truly understanding where your clients are, that's where you understand it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please carry on. Yes.
Like I said, because that's one of the first things I work with a lot of clients is what I call the get initially. So we've got get, build, scale as kind of a part of the model that I go through. But the initial thing is really this just really just take it all down at the moment. Forget about creating courses, programs, all this sort of thing. You know, what have you got at the moment that you can sell, if you like? And who's it for? And then how do we go and engage with them people? Right. And it's almost bringing it down to that right thing. And then forget, you know, most coaches come, that first session, right, you know, tell me about your product range or that. It is all over the place. I end up with a whole pad full of, and then I'm like, right, we need to focus on just one thing at this moment. And when you do that and then come from that place of understanding, then again, and that's me understanding my clients, understanding that they've joined all these programs, they've been on all these webinars, they've, you know, seen all these trainings that they need to create this, they need to create that. So they're in total overwhelm. And I talk about that a lot, overwhelm, because that's me understanding where my client is. That's the feeling they're getting. Well, if I start talking about no clients or whatever, that just depresses them when they hear that, you know. Are you, you know, have you got no clients at the moment, or, you know, but actually, are you really overwhelmed? You just need to sort out your product range, you know, and that's talking about them, them struggles and their feelings and their emotions, rather than the tick box of, yeah, it's a 35-year-old woman, shops in Marks and Spencer's, is affluent, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Which I suppose that there is a place for that as a piece of information, but it's not understanding them. So I like your answer very much, what you said about understanding.
And it's like a bit, so I'll give you an example of that, is if coaches that are kind of, where their target audience is people in menopause, for example, women in menopause, I say people, women in menopause, if you ask them who's your ideal client, they'll tell me, oh, it's women that are aged over 50 plus in menopause. But then the reality is that menopause can happen at any age. There's such a disparity of age. Some women get it really early, other women get it really late, other women don't get affected by it at all. So it's not a tick box of, oh, I'm looking for an affluent person that's just, you know, in the thing. And these things, again, where they're going like, you know, I'll use the example like shopping malls, because they all think they've got to attract the affluent person and whatever money. But then that sidetracks them into targeting someone who's got money, rather so you're having a money conversation rather than a conversation about understanding who they are. And that's the heart conversation that I talk about a lot as well. So.
And actually that was my next question, because you talk about adding heart to the marketing. So I think we transitioned
very nicely.
Yes. So tell me about this, the heart. It's so important.
There's three very important parts of growing your coaching business, or any business in terms of tech, where you're dealing with people, if you like, and particularly the coaching industry. We talk about the coaching one particularly, but you've got three elements. You've got content, okay, and people know they've got to do content. They go content. Most clients I have actually are doing a lot of good content, but not generating any business from it. And then after a while, you see them, they drop off of the content and they come back and start it again. And they think that's the issue, but it's not. So they're doing a lot of content. You've got strategy. So content plan and a strategy plan is different. Doing a content plan is not a strategy. So if you're saying, well, I'm going to do a post, you know, 3 posts this week, I'm going to do 3 live videos, whatever, that's my content. It's not actually a strategy. It's part of the content. The strategy would be then, how do I, you know, follow up with people that comment on it or like it, and, you know, the call to action from it, all of that sort of stuff is a strategy. Yes. The bit in the middle that makes it work, because if you do either, you can do them two things really well. And if you don't do the middle bit, the heart conversation, as I call it, you'll become sleazy. So most people don't like these DMs, you know, like, oh, I don't want to DM people and thing. It's actually an incredibly authentic way of actually getting into conversation with people if you do it the right way. You know, the DM sequence that I teach is actually an 8-step sequence, so you don't just sell straight off. There's all of that stuff you don't sell straight off, but if you, as a strategy, that works, but you've got to have the heart conversation in the middle, and the heart conversation is the engaging part. So engaging with people's content, you know, actually what I call listening to your social media. So we'll go, there's so many people that I call post and go. So they'll put all this content on, but they won't get the, you know, they won't actually look at social media, and all of their, if you look at where they engage with people, it's all very, if you like, personal life stuff they're engaged with rather than business stuff. Whereas actually, if you take the time out as part of your strategy, well, I've got to have that heart conversation with my potential clients. So I've got to listen to what they're talking about. I've got to, and then I can react and engage with them. My clients will know this, where I talk about stories. I love the Facebook stories, Instagram stories, for example. I actually spend 3-5 minute pauses a day. I call it cup of tea breaks, which is turning into cup of waters, as we've been talking about the fitness and stuff like that. But actually looking at the stories, and actually, so I'm getting a real gauge of, I'm having that heart conversation with them because I'm understanding what they're talking about. I'm watching, looking at their stuff. And ironically, I get some people that, as they're coming into some of my programs or when I work with me, is that, I seem to see you everywhere, showing up everywhere. And that's not by accident. It's because I'm prepared to do that work of have that heart conversation, which is listen to them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as a result, there's not, it's like if I woke up today and go, right, damn, I've lost a client. I need to go and get another 2 clients quickly today, or I need to go and get another client today for whatever reason, something's come up, whatever like that. And I just wait, I go, well, I need to get another client today. I'm in a position where I could reach, there's so many people I could reach out to by message, just going, how's things? And, I've got this opportunity, blah, blah, blah. I really, or is there anyone that when I can reach out to lots of people? And the reason I can do that and won't feel sleazy or bad about it, or get back into my introvert box about it, which would have happened in the past, is because I do the constant heart conversation, the heart engaging. So if I just turn up in someone's inbox, it's not out of the blue. It's like, oh, that's Scott, who's, there might, and a lot of people in this, because of the way we've, the world's changed the last sort of couple of years with the pandemic and all that, it's, I think probably I haven't worked out, but at least half of my clients I've never met in person. There's a few now in America, but so that relationship was built by me engaging with them. And then when I did turn up in their inbox, it wasn't a sleazy, this is just trying to sell me.
Yeah. And
also what happens is when you engage and have that heart, I call it the heart conversation, engage with someone with no, I'm not looking to sell, right? I'm not looking to sell to, I'm not looking, I'm engaging people to find my ideal clients. I'm just engaging with people. Now I'm engaging with my potential clients. I'm connecting every day with potential, with coaches that are my potential clients.
Yes.
But then rather than just connect with them and then send them a sales message or try and get into that thing, is I'm prepared to have that heart engagement conversation with them over a 6-month spell, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And that's massive. That's what people don't get. That's the bit into it. So that when you reach out to people think, and I'll tell you why I call it the heart conversation is because also, a lot of the coaches that listen to this will know about the, I might be wrong about the dopamines and all that, when we get things. So I actually love it when I come across someone's post that's had a couple of likes or whatever like that, but no comments on it yet. Mm-hmm. And if you can see they've put their heart and soul into this post, right? It's like a really good piece of content. And this is the problem and I know actually that they're my ideal client because they're doing great content, but they're not getting the interaction that they're getting because they're just doing content and not having the heart conversation or the strategy behind it, one of the two. And so if I see someone like that, I love that because I know when I put a comment on that person is going to get a notification. They're going to feel great. They got a comment because, we all, as much as it doesn't actually matter about the comments and likes. Everyone does like these vanity metrics, but it really doesn't matter. But the dopamine, if you like, effect or that lovely bit of joy we're giving it to someone just by that comment or thanks for sharing, great post, awesome picture. I know what that's done to someone on the other side of this, the internet, if you like, and the screen. Okay, so that's me purely having a heart conversation with them. Yes, they might be my client might become my client in whatever in the future because of that engagement. Yes, they're an ideal client and I'll keep engaged with them. But at that moment in time, it's not about, well, if I comment on this, I can turn this person into a client. Is I just want to make this person's world better for today. And every time, if you like, what I'm doing is I'm now being a person, when they see me, and by the way, when you engage people on Facebook particularly, then they see your post more often. People don't realize that. If you want to get people to see your post, if you do the heart conversation constantly and consistently, your people see more of your posts. But when they see my posts, or they see me showing up in this, they look at stories and they see my stories and stuff like that, they're very, very initial, very subconscious or whatever, before anything else, is that they are associating me with that hit of dopamine they got from when I first reacted with them.
Yeah, that's a great answer, and the word engaging remained in my head the way you said it, and I think it's very obvious to anyone who listens to this that it is a process, it is something, and you explained it very well, but that you are engaging not to sell, but you are engaging to for the sake of engaging. And what you said about the dopamine, I think we all know how it feels when we get some like or a comment which is unexpected from someone which maybe we didn't think that they would even see the post. So we all know how this feels. So it's great to be on the other end and provide it for others. So I think I will leave that. I have always on my episode, I have an actionable item. I ask for my guests to give to the listener one actionable item that they can implement. So I think in this case, this would be a great actionable item. If you could rephrase it and put it in a very short way of engaging, how you can do it, like let's say tomorrow morning, how can you engage more?
So just schedule in a coffee break. Right? Schedule in a tea break, coffee break, water break, whatever it is you want, and go and sit down again, wherever it's your office environment, but not on the couch in front of the kids, for example. This is, I think a lot of people do this as well, where they look at their social media when they go, I'll go and sit on the couch, and then while I'm watching telly, I'll go through my social media. Give it the due respect for starters, right? So schedule in your days, schedule in a coffee break, tea break, whatever is your favorite thing. If it's 10 o'clock in the morning, you want a gin, whatever, it's a gym break, whatever you want to do. It's no judgment here. But for me, it's a tea break. Okay. So schedule in a tea break. And I'll schedule in 3 of them a day, but schedule in a tea break, just do one, like a 5-minute tea break. So make yourself a cup of tea, because that's good. All of this is actually pretty good for your well-being anyway, to go and make yourself sit down, take a break for a minute, just have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, just sit down and just go through your feed, right? For 5 minutes, go through your feed, your social media feed, and don't engage with the family, the memes and all that stuff. Just go past them and just think, I'm going to engage on the people I'm connected to. Maybe someone who is just showing up on my feed or whatever reason that I've never commented on, or never, I don't know them. We've become friends with whatever reason, and I've never engaged with them. So just go into that and just look at people. Where can I just, emoji con or just comment? It's not about getting a client. It's not engaging to get a client. It's not engaging to get a strategy. The strategy bit comes afterwards. But just engage with them, and then just spend 5 minutes. So spend 5 minutes going down your feed, engaging, and then spend 5 minutes maybe just looking through people's stories. Go to the top and just keep going through stories. And again, as they come up, someone shares a picture on it, you can easily on stories leave a message, or you can leave an emoji. They get, the platform. I mean, most people moan about like the Facebook platform and stuff like this. I love my Facebook platform because I've created the environment that I want to create. And when you actually do this heart conversation and this engaging with this, and take 5 minutes out each day or 10 minutes out each day just to do this one action, you'll actually find that your feed will get a lot better, a lot more positive. and you create that environment that you want to create. So Facebook, when people say, "Oh, my Facebook feed is horrible," blah blah blah, you've created that. Right?
Yes.
If you come from a place of understanding and you're prepared to have that heart conversation, and what I guarantee, it will lead to more conversations, it'll lead to more opportunities. But you've got to do it consistently first, without that kind of, "Oh, I'm doing this because I want this."
Absolutely.
I'm just doing this, and that's why I call it the heart conversation, because I'm doing it because I just want to attract the people that I want to attract. And
it's a great takeaway, and the way you describe it, and the reasons behind it as well, because it's very important. And
that is really important. I can try and get the time, but it's really important that when anyone can say do these strategies to get clients, do email marketing, do Facebook, do TikTok, whatever like that. Mm-hmm. The thing that makes it less overwhelming and more engaging for people is do this in this way because you'll get this.
Yes.
And that's my angle, if you like, with my uniqueness I feel that I come from, is rather than just say do this, is actually, have you tried email marketing before? Yes, it didn't work. Right, okay. Well, we're going to do it this way, and it will work because we're going to bring a lot more heart into it.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant. Scott, I would like to start wrapping this conversation up, and I have a couple of quick fire questions to ask of you. So my first one is, what does personal development mean to you?
Just growing, always growing yourself. Mm-hmm. There's always another level. There's always another bit of growth. And the more you grow, the more you be you.
And let's say you could go back in time and meet your 18-year-old self. What one piece of advice you would give him?
I think it'd be rather than, it might be buy Bitcoin early, but and Tesla stock. But other than that, I think it'd be trust yourself. I think it'll be trust yourself. And not what others think. I think trust your opinion of yourself, not what others' opinion is of you.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant. And Scott, where would you direct people who want to find out more about you and connect with you?
The best way, is through Facebook. Obviously, access from Facebook, so you can just search for Scott Campbell on there. But if you go to 𝗁𝗺𝗀.co.uk, that's my website. There's some, some great training stuff on there. So 𝗁𝗺, so success, and then 𝗁𝗺.co.uk.
There are so many things, and I believe in some areas of a conversation we merely scratch the surface, and I think it's inevitable sometimes. But I believe that in some other areas we went a bit deeper, and there were some important lessons there to be learned. And the one that really remained very clearly, the way you said it, was about understanding your customer and how you explained the understanding. So that for me is something that stuck out from our conversation. I want to thank you very much for sharing your expertise and your wisdom with us today. And
thank you for inviting me, allow me to talk. Thank you.
Any parting words, Scott? Anything last?
No, it's been enjoyable. I was a bit nervous, said you're excited, excitable, nervous coming on. I'd just love to know if people, by all means reach out. I mean, you've got my website, but also my email is scott@successraw.co.uk. I'm happy if people reach out, but I'd love to know if anyone listening to this, what they've learned, what they've loved, and what they're going to implement, if you like, and if they do need help, then, hopefully they'll get the impression that I'll put no pressure on them. They're willing to give anyone any bits of advice that they need.
I hope you enjoyed listening. If you have, please share this episode with someone who you think will benefit from it. If you want to know more about what I do, visit my website 𝗁𝗺𝗀𝗄𝗆. And until next time, Stand out, don't fit in,